Hello everyone, Loremaster Sotek here, bringing you a video that I'm excited for, and I think a fair amount of people will be, which is showing off how the Mortal Empires map has been expanded. So I'm here with Nakai, and I'm going to be going over some new places that I've noticed in the world to make conquering the Warhammer Fantasy world even more engaging and loreful and awesome. And of course, I will be trying to pick out any new like unique structures that have been added to the game. You'll notice a few of them have been posted on Reddit, but I might have found one or two that you may not have heard about until now. So without further ado, I've got Nakai here, and he's going to be allowing us to look around. You'll notice I do have a mod enabled so that I can disable Fog of War, because that's going to help immensely with this. So let's go ahead and take a look. So first, you'll notice Albion. Albion is now a fully fledged island. It is no longer a little blip on the map or a single settlement, which is what it became in the first update where it got messed with. Now it's a full island with 3 settlements, including a Conquato, which was the lizardman city that was brand new and started being built after the Albion crisis. Currently it is owned by the Vanaheimling Norskins. But obviously this is what you'll start off going after when you're playing Nakai. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be a unique structure for it yet to reward the Lisbon players for taking it, but maybe that's something we'll see in the future. There are so many updates in this DLC that there's a lot of things I expect to see in the future that maybe just didn't have time to make it in. The next thing worth looking at is that up north of Marienburg, and the settlement Aurno, which I believe is brand new, we have 2 new provinces. The first is the Misty Hills, which is basically the forest, the Drakewald, and it has 2 settlements in this new province, which are owned by the Leaf Cutters, which were a new forest goblin faction that was added with Tic-Tac-Toe, I believe. So in the Prophet and the Warlock DLC, these guys were added as an early game enemy for Tic-Tac-Toe on the Vortex map in the Southlands jungles, and now they are here in the Northern Empire, which is where they have moved to. So they have the Black Pit, which is one of the most important greenskin sites in the lore. The Black Pit is essentially the true dark heart of the Drakewald Forest, and it's where all the forest goblins of the old world, next to Mount Arachnos in the far south, this is where it's a holy site where they worship the spider god, and the biggest, most terrifying spiders in the world can be found here. Also doesn't have a unique structure in it. I hope to see one added when the Greenskin update hits. The second settlement that's totally brand new is Wrecker's Point, which is basically a pirate settlement. So you have greenskin pirates who are also forest goblins, so that's fun. And then just to the northeast of that, you have Lorne Forest, which is a fully fledged Wood Elf settlement. So Wood Elf players rejoice. There's now something to the north of you, as well as the far south. You know, you have the Orion's camp in the far south. Lorne Forest is where all of the Lorne Forest inspired unique buildings moved to. So one thing that they did is, because I'm playing Nakai, you'll notice that I can't see unique structures being offered on settlements that I can't build them in. And since Nakai is a horde, you'll notice that none of the settlements have unique structure options. So Corone, you don't see that little pyramid thing that says you can build unique stuff here. One thing that they've done as kind of a quality of life update is they've made it so that that icon that lets you know you can build a unique structure only appears if your race that you're playing as has the ability to build something there. So for instance, if I were to play as the Empire, I would see that in Lorne Forest, if I take it over, I can build the Lorne Forest building. Or if I take over Altdorf, I can build like the College's Magic, and so on and so forth. The Lorne Forest has the Lorne Forest structures that used to be in Salzenmund were moved here for obvious reasons. So if you're playing as a Bretonnian, Wood Elf, or Empire player, this is a pretty important settlement to try and get your hands on. Beyond that, if we move further to the south, there's been a ton of new stuff added. We obviously have the 3 gates that have been added to block major passes through the Empire. So you have the Gisero Gap, which is blocked by Fort Bergbreeze, which, depending on who you're playing as, is owned by different factions, but generally starts in control of Marienburg. Then you have Helmgart, which is an Axebite Pass. If you're not playing as the Empire, then it starts in control of the Empire. If you are playing as the Empire, I believe it starts in control of the Empire Secessionists. And then to the far south is Fort Sol, which no matter who you're playing as, in Winter's Teeth Pass will be owned by the Golden Order and Balthazar Gelt. Which, speaking of which, if you haven't seen, there are some new... the other new province in the Empire besides the Drakewald up north is Solland, which is is basically one of the destroyed provinces. Both the Drakewald and Solland were wiped out by enemies of the Empire in ages past. Solland was, of course, wiped out by the horrifying orc war boss Gorbad Ironclaw, and it seems that Gelt has been tasked with bringing it back from the depths. So if you play as Gelt, this is your starting location, and it is comprised of Fyldorf and Steingart. But Nuln, of course, or the province of Wisenland, did get a new settlement, because Fyldorf used to be their southernmost settlement, but since it's the capital of that province now, they got Doternbach as a consolation prize. So it's still a 3-province settlement. Meanwhile, the Moot over here is its own province, though it is uniquely a 4-settlement province, regardless of who owns it. If you're playing as the Empire, you are able to build a unique halfling structure here, so you can actually get the benefits of having the halfling chefs on your side. Beyond that, if we look over, see, Carrickhearn hasn't changed too much. Averlin hasn't changed. Ah, yes. So for Stirland, it has changed since the Moot no longer belongs to it. It has been expanded into a 3-settlement province. So you have Flensburg over here to the southwest of Wurtbad, and then to the far east, you have Needling, which is, of course, far more at risk at being attacked by the vampire counts, though the Moot does tend to fall to von Karstein still fairly often. Talabheim, I believe, has been expanded in this patch to a 4-settlement. That may have been done the last patch, but just in case. So you've got Krugenheim and Kappelberg up here. And then Ossermark is, of course, a 4-settlement area now, which also may have been done last patch, but just in case, we'll go over it, because we've got Nagenhof and Mordheim. And the cool thing about Mordheim is if you are playing as the Empire, there is a unique structure in Mordheim available for just the Empire right now. Hopefully other races will get the ability to build in Mordheim, but right now it's just the Empire. I'll show that structure right here. You can see it's based on the Mordheim video game and the Sisters of Sigmar faction, which of course were the female order in the Church of Sigmar. They were wiped out during the Mordheim crisis, as the Church of Sigmar kind of took advantage of that horrible crisis when a Warpstone meteor slammed into the city. They kind of took advantage of that to declare that the female worshippers of Sigmar were heretics, and basically changed the doctrine of the church to say that no women should be warrior priests in the Church of Sigmar, which of course is not actually why a meteor hit the city, but that's what the church blamed it on. And I believe that is it for the new structures, but the Empire is a much, much, much more exciting place to fight over now. There is so much going on in it with, of course, entire new provinces and races, you know, having Balthazar Gelt out on his own, and then having the Lara Lorne elves and the leaf cutters to contend with. There's not only a significant amount of increased settlements to fight over now to make the Empire truly dynamic and interesting, there's just a lot of really cool stuff going on. Oh, and then, oh yeah, so Middenstag is a new settlement in Midland. Midland is now a 4-settlement province, because Middenstag was definitely not there before. In any event, that's pretty much going to do for this video. Oh, and of course, I almost forgot, can't forget though, that because Helmgard has become a fort, Ubersreich, which is of course a super famous city from Warhammer Fantasy lore, a ton of crazy things have happened in Ubersreich over the years. And the most famous of which, to the to just casual gamers will be, of course, the Vermintide games, which, although they take place during the end times, there is, of course, a reference to them, which I'll put here. And you can see that it's a unique structure that allows you to build the Red Moon Inn, which is kind of the player base during Vermintide 1. And it gives you a garrison, including the 5 heroes of Ubersreich. So you get a Witch Hunter, a Bright Wizard, a Elf, Waystalker, or Waywatcher, or Waystalker, right. A Dwarf Thane, I believe, and then a Empire Captain. So you get or a Bright Wizard. One of those should be a Bright Wizard. But in any event, you get the full group of the Ubersreich 5 to defend the city, which is so exciting. That's actually why a lot of people, when they announced Wolfheart, there's a picture where it shows Wolfheart's hunters in a pose that reminded a lot of people of the Vermintide game, and everyone was like, look, there's the Vermintide reference. And I was like, not technically. There's a better Vermintide reference in this patch. And so that's, of course, the Vermintide reference. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. It's just kind of a quick video to show off all the new territory you can find over the Empire. Would love to hear your thoughts on it. Would love to hear about maybe places you would like to see added future in the game, or places you would like to see gain unique buildings to help players kind of understand more of the story of the places they're conquering. The other thing I should note is that Faldorf, of course, does have a unique building to help start off Gelt's campaign. I believe it's a unique wine market that gives him a bunch of income. And then the only other thing worth noting at the moment is that if you play as Gelt, the situation between the Black Venom tribe and the Carrick-Cairn dwarves will change to make your campaign a little bit more. Well, let's just say you'll have to help the dwarves. But in any event, that's going to be it for this video. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.